Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. I see you, Regina Shorts, Deborah Johnson, Shirley Nicholson, Kenny Stanley. I also see him in the green room, Camille Jones, and others who are coming in here. I just want to say good morning. Listen, y'all can't even apologize. We got on here just a tad bit late this morning because I was in a praise and worship atmosphere that I can't even explain, and I'm still in it. So hopefully I can get through this. I see you, Marion Jackson. I see you, Adrian, coming in from YouTube. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. I see you, Davia. Good morning to all of you. If you have never listened to this song by J.J. Harrison, Thankful, I beg of you to do it, but don't do it while you're at your office or driving. I literally just asked the thing, I won't say the name, to play Thankful by J.J. Harrison. And I've heard this song before. I see you, Kim Edmondson, but y'all, I went into a praise. I still got tears. I got my tissues up here because I can't stop crying. It's amazing. It will shift the atmosphere. So J.J. Harrison, Thankful. Hopefully we'll have Lexi on this morning. She's having technical difficulties from the high school, so hopefully we will have her. Before I get started, we are at the end of early voting for all of these people. So, already early voting is Minnesota, South Dakota, Virginia, Wyoming, Illinois, Michigan, Maine, California, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Arizona, Indiana, Ohio, Georgia, Iowa, Kansas, Rhode Island, Tennessee, North Carolina, Washington, Massachusetts, Nevada, Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, South Carolina, Texas, Hawaii, Missouri, Louisiana, Utah, West Virginia, Maryland. You are today. Delaware is tomorrow. Florida, New Jersey, and New York will happen on the 29th. And then we have a couple in November. And then we also have those 8 states, which I'll share with those later. We'll have 8 states that you can actually register to vote and vote on the same day. So all of that is happening. Yes, Dr. Antoinette, early voting starts in your state today. Good morning, Patricia Lyles. Good morning. So yeah, yeah, I've already been in a place of worship this morning. Good morning to my brother. Y'all, today is Thursday, October 27th, 2022, and we have some headlines this morning. And boy, do I want to tell you, we have some headlines this morning. Y'all, there are 12 days before the midterm elections. There are 12 days before the midterm elections. I see you, Pastor Alex, coming in here. USA Today is reporting election day is 12 days away, but in courtrooms across the country, efforts to sow doubt over the outcome have already begun. They're all largely Republicans making the statements around midterm elections that if they don't win, then somebody rigged the election. Why do we have to even operate that way? I see you, Lori Wallace. So they're saying they went all the way back. USA Today went all the way back from the start of the year, start of this year, 2022. Y'all, there are more than 100 lawsuits which have been filed again by Republicans around the midterm election. They call into question mail in voting rules, voter access, voting machines, voting registration, and counting the mismarked absentee ballots and access for partisan poll watchers. Y'all, they're saying this is the most litigation ever before an election. And it's a strategy shift born of the failures of the allies of the former guy to challenge the results of the 2020 presidential election. So see what's happening here, and that is carrying over even now. I see you, Sardinia. Good morning. So y'all, there's a lot that is happening. And I know from the state of Ohio, several of you have reached out to me to state that either you never received your absentee ballot application, is too late for that. So the best thing I would tell you to do is to go to your main, wherever you are in the state of Ohio, go to your main location. I finally see Lexi coming in here. Go to the main, your early voting center, and just go ahead and vote early. That's the best thing you can do. The application phase is over and there's not enough time. There's 12 days. There are those who saying that you have submitted your applications in Ohio and you have yet to receive your ballot. Same thing. I know here in Central Ohio, I can only speak to Central Ohio. This is the information I received yesterday. In Central Ohio, you can go to Morse Road and say, I sent the application. I have not received my ballot. I want to go ahead and vote. Now they may try to push the provisional ballot on you. You can push back and say no. You can mark in your system that I came in person to early vote and to destroy the ballot that's coming to me. There are a lot of people, they're saying it's close to 500,000 people in Ohio that they're all waiting for something when it comes to this election. Y'all do not sit back and just wait. Do not just sit back and wait. Make that phone call, even if you're on hold. I did a phone call because I wanted to find out the information myself for Central Ohio. I called in. I was on hold for more than 90 minutes, but I did not want to hang up because I had questions to ask so that I could answer it to you. They're saying the best thing you can do at this point is to go, and this is Central Ohio, y'all, is to go on Morse Road and cast your ballot and let them know to just mark in in the system to destroy the other ballot. So that's it. You got to make sure you're not voting twice. So if you do that, wherever you are in the United States of America, if you happen to go in after you requested a mail-in ballot, y'all, whatever you do, don't vote twice. Please don't vote twice. If you have to put on the outside, take a picture of the envelope and say return the sender and send it back, and but take a picture to have for your files. Please do that. I see you, Latrice. I see you, Rosanna. So I wanted to mention that. Um, y'all, another woman alleges Herschel Walker pressured her to get an abortion. Yeah, y'all, another woman. She has come forward. She has teamed up with attorney, or her attorney is Gloria Allred. She said that Herschel Walker drove her to the abortion clinic and paid for her to have the procedure after she became pregnant as a result of her 6-year relationship with him in the early 1990s. So there's a lot, and that's Huffington Post and others, political others that are reporting. Y'all, I guess we can say good news. Reuters is reporting that Michigan jury found 3 men guilty in plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah, y'all. On yesterday, the Michigan jury found the 3 men guilty of aiding a conspiracy to kidnap the Michigan governor in 2020, a plot that prosecutors said grew out of the hostility over restrictions imposed during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, y'all, after just 2 weeks of testimony, Joseph, age 28, his father-in-law, Pete, age 44, and Paul, age 23, guilty of gang membership, firearm violation, and providing material support for terrorism. They could face up to 20 years in prison. So we have that going on. Dr. Antoinette, you'll get excited about this. Mark Meadows is ordered to testify in Georgia election probe. He's Trump's one-time White House chief of staff, will have to testify before the grand jury in Georgia, investigating efforts by Trump and his allies to undo President Biden's win in the state. Judge says that's coming from the Associated Press. What else is interesting for me in this? All of a sudden, we're hearing about Justice Clarence Thomas, and you know what I reported yesterday with the whole piece with Lindsey Graham, which I don't think he had any business doing that. I looked into what you asked me yesterday, Dr. Antoinette. I don't know. I don't believe it's legal. Many people are raising that question. And we are hearing that Mark Meadows is trying to now go the Clarence Thomas route. So there's some connection there, and they need to really expose all of that. Y'all, this election, I've been telling y'all since January, this is the most important midterm election of our lifetime. I see you, Diane Ladybug. Latrice Jones said the Ohio Supreme Court race is important for women's rights. It's absolutely important in Ohio. And again, y'all, if you are tuning in, y'all, we are on so many platforms right now. Our audio engineer, Gina Winks, we had a conversation yesterday, and I think that's why I'm such in a praise type mood. Y'all, if you would just step out on faith and do it. I was shocked at that. I won't even repeat the numbers. I won't repeat the numbers here. But I was like, Gina, are you sure these are the numbers? She said, yes. And what's interesting is that, y'all, audio, we do the videos here. We do the live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And now we're Twitter. And then on, I'm missing one, LinkedIn. We do the live views. But I think because most people are back to work or they're driving or whatever, that they don't have time to sit and watch. They rather just listen. And so she encouraged me to do that, and I did that. And within 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today's the fourth day. In 3 days, I told her last night, I said, girl, these cannot be the numbers. She said, yes, these are the numbers. She goes, and they're going back listening to previous podcasts and to previous shows, because I'm in awe. I'm just in awe. So I just want to encourage you all right now. If there's something that you've been struggling or waiting on doing, do it. I can see now this is going to turn into a whole inspirational message today, but to do it, just absolutely do it. And at this point, and Edmondson is going like this. I need to respond. I don't respond to everybody, but I need to respond to the person who sent me their email, telling me that there's no way I have over 10,000 pieces of content. Well, if you would just go to my Twitter alone, and I was being very conservative in my numbers for my content, because the business coach told me I had way more than 10,000. But I just told y'all that. I was just trying to be conservative. If you go to my Twitter account alone, and I have 3, but if you go to just one Twitter account, which is at Gail Dudley, and that is GailDudley, you will see that I have tweeted more than 12,000 times. That's considered content. So you have content on Twitter, you have content on Instagram, content on Facebook, you have content on LinkedIn, you have all the articles on LinkedIn, all the articles on medium.com. Yes, I am on medium.com. I don't promote it all the time. You do all the content on Patreon. You do all my 14 books. Hello, somebody. You do all the magazines since 2015, 4 times a year. You do all of the speaking engagements. You do all of the workshops. You do all of the curriculums that I've written. I'm knocking on 69,000 pieces of content, if I want to be exact. So there you have it. So yeah, so thank you for writing in so that I could really take ownership of what I have produced. Y'all, we got to stop hating on each other this way. We need to start celebrating each other. We need to build each other up. Dr. Antoinette says, don't overlook or discount the road warriors. There are times when I sign on and get in my car. On those days, I appear to be inactive. See, there you have it. There you have it. So y'all, we have to lift up. We have to lift up. Latrice said, Gail got time today. Good morning, Hester. All right, let me keep going, y'all. The Los Angeles, City Council formally reprimanded 2 members of its former presidents for their involvement over the participation in the secretly recorded 2021 meeting laced with racist comments. The council cannot expel members and can only suspend a member when criminal charges are pending. And that's from the Associated Press. I'm going to pause right now. I know Lexi is at school. Y'all, please stay on here. Cheer her on. Y'all, she is our high school News in Motion ambassador. She gets different reports. She's getting graded on this. So y'all, let's write in the comments. Let's chat back with her so that if our teachers or administrators or whoever are tuning in, they can see that we are supporting her. We are loving her. And do me a favor, y'all, hit the thumbs up and the hearts as well to get the algorithm so that more schools can see, as we are now beginning to recruit more News in Motion high school interns. So bring Lexi in. Good morning, Lexi. I'm so glad to see that everything is working now.
Hi, yeah. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties, but we're here
Hey,
now.
don't apologize. Don't apologize at all. Don't apologize. I know you're have a time frame. So I just want to say thank you again. I love the work that you're doing, the research you're doing. And as you know, when you say something like, I believe you, I trust you, just run with it. And so I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share with everyone what's going on in your area.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Good morning, News in Motion family. Right now, I will be talking about your hunger issues. So stay with me. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take you forward. So we'll see where we go with it. Right now, what we already know at the table is, according to the USDA, more than 34 million people nationwide, with 9 million of those children suffer from hunger. According to feedamerica.org, hunger in the African American, Latino, and Native American communities is higher because of systemic racial injustice. To achieve a hunger-free America, we must address the root causes of hunger and structural and systemic inequities. In 2021, 20% of Black people experienced hunger in America. So great sources to help we talked about last week was volunteering or donating to Feeding America Food Bank, No Kid Hungry, donations to nonprofit organizations, and then taking the time to research how you could help those who go hungry in your community. Now, what's new to the table? Food waste is another huge problem in America, but as it's drawing more attention, people are starting to realize a core problem. According to AP News, who talked to Patty Apple, a manager at Food Shift in Alameda, California, a nonprofit that collects and uses expired or imperfect foods, she stated, they read these dates and then they assume that it's bad, they can't eat it and toss it, when these dates don't actually mean that they're not edible or not still nutritious or tasty. Now, what she's talking about are those expired dates, because commonly we see that we look at the expired dates and, oh, okay, by this time I can throw this away because it'll be bad. But it could be perfectly good food. In the places like UK, they have already started to remove the best before labels. According to AP News, the European Union is expected to announce a revamp to its labeling laws by the end of this year. It's considering completely abolishing best before labels altogether. So, to clarify, used by is for perishable foods, specifically meat and dairy. So, overall, we could be throwing away food that's perfectly fine because of the best if used by date. Now, that's crazy because it could be perfectly good food, but we're wasting it, and we have so many, specifically 34 million people who are going hungry, but they have perfectly good food in our house, and we think it's bad just because of some silly date that the company puts on there for our safety and health purposes. So, the current update of what America is going to do, according to AP News, in the US, there's no similar push to scrap best before labels, but there is a growing momentum to standardize the language on date labels to help educate buyers and food about food waste, including a push from big grocers and food companies on bipartisan legislation in Congress. So that's all what we're really doing right now. So just keep track of your labels, stay together with your volunteers, see what you could do outside in your community to make sure no kid goes hungry. And then always make sure you smell check your food. I know mom always smell check her food, and she has the best nose in the family, so I can't trust my judgment. And then there are too many families that go hungry for us to be wasting good food. And then, real quick, for your national days, we have National Black Cat Day, National Navy Day, and National Civics Day.
We have national what?
National Black Cat Day, National Navy Day, and National Civics Day.
I like the National Civics Day out of all of them, and Navy
Yeah.
Day. Yeah, I like both of those. I appreciate that. So, when you were doing your research here, and I know we were talking about the labels and everything, why is it, why aren't the labels extended on the food products? Or is that because it needs to be out the store by that time? Were you able to find that?
I wasn't able to find that specifically, but by what you're saying, I think personally, but I would recommend you all do your own research, and I could probably bring that back to you sometime soon. I think it's probably the store trying to get the food out of the way rather than keeping it and extending it, because they'll think it gets bad, and then that makes the company look bad, and they could get sued for if a customer is probably eating food and it gets very nasty, and it'll just be bad reviews all over the place for them. So I do agree with you with saying that the store wants to get it out rather than keep it, but I'm honestly not sure.
Okay, Miss Latrice Jones says, so the expiration date is helping with food waste
Yes, absolutely.
because people are just throwing it away.
Throwing away perfectly good food without checking it, and you see why we have 34 million kids and people going hungry, and it's just absolutely unacceptable. So we got to do better.
I'm guilty. And I'll go through the pantry and I'm like, oh no, this is expired. Got to get rid of this. And I'm just like dumping the stuff in the trash and taking it out. So I'm guilty. Kenny Stanley said he's guilty also.
Yeah. Well, we live and we learn. Now it's what we do with it now.
I know. For everyone who's thinking about what's happening with Thanksgiving, I will be getting with Lexi over the weekend to see how we can best do this. We don't want to get the food, the cards anymore from Aldi's and send them out. We don't. We want to cut ourselves out. So we're trying to figure out another way to work around this, not just in Ohio, but in all of our viewing and listenership. We're trying to figure out how to best do this. So stay tuned. If you all have any suggestions for us, let us know. We don't want to just and I want to say this carefully, we don't want to just send stuff to the stores and say, these people will come in. We want to be able to manage it to make sure it's getting to the people who are definitely in need. So thank you, Lexi, so much. I know you got to get around and get back to your class.
You're welcome, of course. It's great to be here.
All right. Have a great day, great weekend. All right. In other news, judge orders Governor Ron DeSantis, to turn over records on migrant flights to Martha's Vineyard. So, a Florida judge ruled Governor Ron DeSantis must turn over records connected with his taxpayer funded flights of migrants from Texas to Massachusetts, saying his administration failed to comply with state public records law. The governor's office intends to appeal, claiming it already provided enough information. That's coming from the HuffPost, excuse me. So, y'all, even with that, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the debate in Florida between the two. I think there's now three running for governor. Ron DeSantis would not answer questions. I guess that's the new thing. I just won't answer questions. And speaking of the debate, I do want to speak momentarily on the debate between um, Fetterman and Oz. Now, I'm rooting for Fetterman. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm rooting for him because I think the world needs to see how people recover from strokes and how people can still go forward and be brilliant in what they do. Yeah, he may have stumbled over a couple of words, but that's a part of his recovery. And with Dr. Oz being a doctor, he should know that. And he should have more compassion and concern about that. I guess Dr. Oz recently now have a residence in Pennsylvania, but I guess he really lives in the New Jersey area. So it's just really interesting. So y'all watch that. Watch that. They asked people, did the numbers change because the governor was slow? Not the governor. The John Fetterman was slow in answering some of the questions. But hey, I really appreciate the fact he could have said, I'm not going to debate. He didn't do that. He came out and he debated. He said, I'm going to debate. And that's exactly what he did. So I just want to give him a shout out. All right, y'all. I tried not to talk about it, but I got to talk about it. On yesterday, the shoe company Skechers said in a statement that Kanye West, arrived unannounced without invitation to one of the company's offices in Los Angeles and engaged in unauthorized filming. The rapper was then escorted from the building by two Skechers executives after a brief conversation. Now, Skechers is not considering whatsoever at all. They want everybody to know, and they have no intentions of working with Ye. They say in a quote, we condemn his recent divisive remarks and do not tolerate anti-Semitism or any other form of hate speech. The company would like to again stress that West showed up unannounced and uninvited to Skechers' corporate offices, engaged in unauthorized filming. So I want to really ask y'all this question. I'm going to bring on Kenny, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk about vetting, which you don't want to miss vetting. And if I can be real transparent, you do not want to miss the inspirational message. I was in my office having a praise party, and God's rhema word was just falling on me. And I need to impart this to however many of you will remain on here to hear this message. But I want to hear in the comment section, where do y'all stand with Ye? Y'all know what I said yesterday. I said I condemn. I condemn his remarks. I condemn that. I consider it hate speech. But and underneath that, I think he's trying to say something else. And I was in a conversation with some young people yesterday, and I had a couple aha moments. And I said, I would say he's doing this all wrong. I said, and they were telling me to separate the hate speech, that they agree that's hate, that's horrible conversation, that's divisive, that's all of that. They agree with me. They said, but look at this side, look at the other piece. If that was out the way, look at the other piece. And I said, oh, okay. So they were talking to me, and I thought, I can see some of it. And I'll go back to something I said maybe earlier this year, or late last year. Millennials, and I don't know if Yi is a millennial or not. I don't know his exact age, but millennials, they have no fear. They have no fear. And are some of us responding again, hate speech away? We're not talking about hate speech. Are some of us responding based upon, oh, you shouldn't say it like that because of how we were born and raised? I really want to hear y'all's comments. I really want to read y'all's comments in the comment section. If you're listening by podcast or audio on any audio platform or podcast platform, feel free to write in and share your comments. And that's News in Motion with Gail at gmail.com. Again, that's News in Motion with Gail at gmail.com. And if you're listening to the podcast, it's going to be in the description section. Hester says, I'm no longer standing. I sat down a long time ago. I don't understand. Lori says, I don't. Stephanie says, they have no fear. They have no fear. And they were trying to tell me that he's trying to prove a point that there are disparities in contracts because of who's at the executive level and what they're saying and what they're writing. And they were telling me, he's just wanting to put contracts next to each other. And I guess he walked out on Piers Morgan's interview, and he even called Piers Morgan a boy. And I thought, wow, what is happening? Pastor Alex says, when you say no fear, do you mean no reverence? I think so. When I say no fear, they don't. And I don't want to say they don't care. I feel, this is my opinion, that they're like, okay, I'm moving on to my next thing, or I don't care, I'm going to push the envelope, or if I lose this, I lose this. Um, and people were saying he was trying to get out of the Adidas contract anyway. And I said, wasn't there another way to get out of the Adidas contract than the way you're doing it? So, Pastor Alex, that's what I mean by that. They can just walk away. They're like, I don't have to do this. And I wonder if it's not us. I'm gonna put it back on us, that we given so much to our children because of what we did not have. Leave that one up there. Because of what we did not have, that we gave them so much that I think sometimes our children take for granted of what we've done. I know what I'm trying to say. I may not be articulating it well this morning. Facebook user, I think that's Mike Nicholson, says, I had this debate back in 2013 about Yi, and sadly foreshadowed all of this. This all began to happen when he came out of proclaiming he was a God with a capital G, not lowercase g. Well, I watched a little piece of the interview because, that's what I do. I went looking for it on YouTube with Piers Morgan, and he kept saying that God told him. And I thought, that's interesting. And I can't judge, but I did ask, okay, what God told him to do this? Jacqueline said, I had a conversation about Yi with my millennial nephew. He doesn't agree with the hate speech, but tries to hear the message. Pastor Alex says they have a safe landing space in us so they can afford to walk away. That's it. That's it, Pastor Alex. They do. They know they can always come home. They know they always have somebody to help them. Lori says no fear should not mean no respect, no rules, no focus, no purpose. You have to look at what your end result really is and the best way to get to it. Yes, Hester says some of the millennials feel they don't need us, older folks, but we need them attitude. It's interesting you said that, Hester. And for all the millennials, because y'all know I have a millennial team, we are not hating on y'all. We're trying to understand you and to connect with where you are and what you are saying. And what's interesting with that, Hester, I was following this woman on, I was going through Reels and came across one where this woman was apologizing to the younger moms. And she has her Reels on moms about taking care of your home and eating healthy foods and may not always use the microwave. And I'm just following because I don't have any children at home. And she was on there apologizing. I was trying to figure out why she was apologizing. And as she's apologizing, she's stating that so okay, Davey is saying he's 45 years old, so he's not a millennial. Yeah, because I think millennials go to 33. She says, I'm out of patience. He needs mental health care, a personality adjustment, some love and relationship with God. I agree with that. And I'm out of patience too. And I'm trying to be patient. But I think that's it. You hit the nail on the head. I'm out of patience with this. I'm absolutely out of patience with this. So back to you, Hester. Some of y'all wonder how I can just keep flowing like that. I don't know. God's given me a brilliant mind to be able to do this. So back to you, Hester. So the woman who was doing the reel said that she was getting attacked by younger generation, talking about that we hushed our children. They believe having the freedom of their children to speak whenever they want to speak and say whatever they want to say. And this one woman was saying that even in church, she's allowing her children to run around while the preacher is preaching or the choir is singing, and she lets them read their books out loud because she never wants to stifle them. I'm thinking there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. But that's my mindset. That's my mindset. That's how I was raised. And I'm like, have we taken it so far the other way that we're not considering the middle to come together? Are we not being concerned about other people? This is going somewhere else. But anyway, I want us to start thinking about this. Now, you go someplace, you get it, you engage in unauthorized filming, and you get escorted. Was that because you wanted to be escorted so we can continue to talk about you? Or is something else happening? Is something else happening? All right, y'all. We're not going to get to one piece. I want to bring Kenny in real quick, and then I got this inspirational message, and I really do hope none of you leave unless you have to because of work. So bring Kenny on here. He's going to give us some what to look for going in. What's up, Kenny Stanley? I'm glad
What's
that you're
happening?
feeling better.
Yeah. Thank y'all for the prayers. Thank you so much. How y'all
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, good. Hey, before you say that, Pastor Alex said God has not stopped being a God of order. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. All right, Kenny, I'm gonna get out your way and give us the update, and then y'all, I'll be back with the inspirational message. Y'all, it's Thursday. Anything can happen on Thursday on News and Motion. All right, Kenny, take it away.
All right. Good morning, News and Motion family. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Game Over with me, Kenny Stanley. Thank y'all for y'all's prayers yesterday. I woke up with a terrible headache. I think it's the weather changing on me, but here I am. I'm here for y'all today. It's shaping up to be a big weekend in sports. The NBA kind of took over last night because it was the only thing going in sports. So we got Cleveland over Orlando, 103-92. The Atlanta Hawks flew past Detroit, 118-113. New York Knicks over the Charlotte Hornets, 134-131. My 76ers looked horrible again as they got beat by Toronto, 119-109. And looking like the worst team in the NBA, can't play basketball at all, and they cannot bring Russell Westbrook today. The Lakers got bullied last night, 110-199 by the Denver Nuggets. They're looking horrible. In college football this week, the Buckeyes go to Happy Valley to take on Penn State on Fox at 12 o'clock noon. Number one, Georgia will try to keep their winning ways going at 3:30 on CBS as they welcome in Florida. Tennessee plays host to Kentucky on ESPN at 7 p.m. Uh, Number four, Michigan plays host to their little brother, Michigan State. Come on, Sparty, let's get them. That's a 7:30 night game on ABC. Let's go, Sparty. Check your local listings for the games in your area. The NFL kicks off tonight with Baltimore heading to the Sunshine State to take on Tampa Bay at 8 p.m. on Amazon Prime. The Bears go to Jerry's World to play my Dallas Cowboys at 1 o'clock on Fox on Sunday. Miami is at Detroit. The Cardinals play the Vikings. The Battle of Pennsylvania takes place Sunday as the Steelers head to Philly. Sunday night game features Green Bay going to Buffalo. Will Aaron Rodgers turn it around and look like the old Aaron Rodgers? We'll see. And closing out the weekend, we got the Battle of Ohio Part 1 as the Bengals head north to play that mistake by the lake. Take on the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. In Major League Baseball, the World Series kicks off tomorrow night. I think the first pitch is at 8:15. Is the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Houston Astros. That's sports. Game over. Back to Gail for more news. Everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad again that you're feeling better. And y'all don't forget you can catch Kenny at 4:30 p.m. on Saturdays with Game Over on all of
Yeah.
these same platforms. So just wanted to give that shout out to you.
All right.
All
Thank you
right,
so
take
much.
care.
Everybody have a great weekend. See you Saturday.
All right. Hey y'all, Devontae Goins said, and I figured out who this was. I'm going to be doing a deconstruction of this tomorrow. He's talking about Kanye West on the Unbossed Columbus Nightly News audio experience. So be sure y'all check him out, follow him as well to see what he's going to be talking about when it comes to Kanye West. There was a lot of conversation in here while Kenny was talking. So I did want to pull that one out so y'all can tune into that. All right, y'all, it's time for the inspirational message. And whoever is here is exactly who is supposed to be here. And I hope y'all give me some patience to get through all of this. Y'all, this word tore me up this morning. And again, if you have not listened to J.J. Harrison's song, Thank You, you want to check it out. But I give you a caution. Don't be driving, and you know, if you're at work, I wouldn't do it there. I'll wait till you're on your break, lunch, or at home in your own personal space. All right, this is coming out of Joshua. I'm going straight to the word today. This is coming out of Joshua chapter 6. And I gotta walk through this, so hold on. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the seventh day, march around the city 7 times with priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have all the people give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse and the people will go up, every man straight in." So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and take 7 priests carrying trumpets in front of it." And he ordered the people, "Advance, march around the city with the armed guards going ahead of the ark of the Lord." When Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets before the Lord went forward, blowing their trumpets, and the ark of the Lord's covenant followed them. The armed guard marched ahead of the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard followed the ark. All this time, the trumpets were sounding, but Joshua had commanded the people, "Do not give a war cry, do not raise your voices, do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout." So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city, circling it once. Then the people returned to the camp and spent the night there. Joshua got up early the next morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets went forward, marching, blowing before the ark of the Lord and blowing the trumpets. The armed men went ahead of them, and the rear guard followed the ark of the Lord while the trumpets kept sounding. So on the second day, they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. On the seventh day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times at the same manner, except on that day they carried the city, they circled the city 7 times. The seventh time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet, when the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and all that is in it are to be devoted to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who are with her in her house shall be spared, because she hid the spies we sent. But keep away from the devoted things, so that you will not bring about your own destruction by taking any of them. Otherwise, you will make the camp of Israel liable to destruction and bring trouble on it. All the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron are sacred to the Lord and must go into the treasury." Verse 20. When the trumpet sounded, the people shouted. And at the sound of the trumpet, when the people gave a loud shout, the wall collapsed. So every man charged straight in, and they took the city. I want to stop right there. They took the city. Y'all listen. There's something important about the instructions that God has given to each and every one of us. The challenge is we're not waiting on that time. 7 days here. Now, this 7 days, and just hear me for a moment, these 7 days for us could be, I don't know, it could be 7 months. It could be 7 years. It could be 7 hours. It could be whatever God is saying to us. Now, I'm giving you 7 because I'm reading this out of Joshua chapter 6. But listen to this, y'all. Joshua followed the instructions and he told the people, now go around, you can blow the horns, you can do all of that. But he says, do not give a war cry. Do not raise your voices. Do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout, then shout. Y'all, many of us are speaking out of turn. It is not time yet. It's not time yet. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this thing messed with me this morning. I cannot explain it. I think about how many my conversation with Gina Winks last night. And I'm like, what? Y'all, we've been on here for 2.5 years. We've been on the air for 2.5 years. And there wasn't time to do what she asked me to do over the weekend. It wasn't time, but it was time this week. It was time this week. And that's why this week there's like a burden that has been lifted. The shout is happening. The excitement and the celebration is going forth. Y'all, we have to stop jumping ahead of the instructions. Not yet, not yet. He told them not to say a word. He said, don't do any of that until you hear the long blast. And when you do, the walls are going to collapse and then you can take the city. See, there are walls that are being built around you, keeping you protected. See, sometimes we have misunderstood the walls that we're surrounded by. We say things. I've said it too. My back is up against the wall. Well, was it really up against the wall, or was it that I was being protected from the enemy on the outside of the wall? And at the certain time, the walls were going to fall down, and the walls are starting to fall down. I'm very careful to even say that out loud. But God gave me permission to say it out loud today. The walls are coming down. So with you, stop trying to break through or chisel through a protective wall that has been erected around you, because God is trying to keep you from messing up. He's saying, not yet. Not yet. And there's times we're going to mess up. He's like, I need you to stay safe in my arms. So this wall that is around you is the safety net that I'm keeping you from the destruction that's going to happen over there. Once I deal with everyone else that's around you, I'm going to allow you to break out into a shout. The walls are going to come down and you'll be able to take over what it is I have given to you. I hope y'all are getting this like I'm giving it to you. And I'm about to just sign off because I'm about to lose it again. But listen here. Listen, y'all. Listen. We have to pay perfect attention to the instructions. These instructions are not to damage you. They're not to damage you at all. They are to prepare you for what's coming. For what's coming. So often we jump or we leap ahead because of our excitement. And God knows that we're excited, especially when He reveals something to us. He knows we're excited. I'm about to share something with you that I only shared it to the first person on yesterday, who is Amber Maubrey, who's the designer of the magazine. We were in a conversation, we were talking. And during the conversation, I'm going to tell you what God said to me. I said, I was in my own place of meditation and study last week. And I believe this is going to free some of you. I really do. And y'all know I'm a transparent person. I said, God showed me, Amber, and these were the exact audible words. And I don't get audible words often, but his audible words to me was, Gail, you are sabotaging your own success out of fear. Hello, somebody. That hit me. I said, what? I mean, and I didn't ask God to answer anything. It came out of nowhere. He says, you are sabotaging your own success out of fear. Y'all, I thought I was a fearless woman. But I sat there and it has jacked me up for a week. It was 1 week today. It was early morning last Thursday. Yeah, woo, yeah, yeah. So here's my question. How many of you are sabotaging your success out of fear? Yeah, it is time for us to shout. It is. I believe it is. I believe it is. But be still until He progresses you to the place of shouting. Yeah, y'all. Yeah. I'm so free. And here's what's been interesting. Y'all may think there's not a connection, but there's a connection here. There is a connection to my freeness with my hair. Y'all can't tell me nothing about my hair right now. Nothing whatsoever at all. It like has given me this, I know who I am. And I don't know if it's the movie, The Woman King, or what, but it's like, y'all know I've been dealing with my hair for 2 years. For 2 years. It's such a freeness. It is such a freeness. My husband has said many times, oh, you look nice today. Oh, you look good today. These past 2-3 weeks, he goes, girl, where you going? You are too fine. Where you think you going? You look too good. There's just something, but it's not just the hair. It's the atmosphere. It's the boldness. It's the confidence. It's how I'm carrying myself. It is everything. I'm rolling up in meetings like what? Like, hello. I mean, I walked into a meeting the other day. The whole table turned. I said, hey, I'm here. I'm a little late. Sorry about that. They were like, no, go ahead and sit down. Let's talk. And I commanded that room, y'all. Y'all, you have to know when the time is. And I believe, and Isaiah and Kenny and Lexi before her technology was going on. I didn't know they were already in the green room. And I was in a worship place and I prayed for all of you where I see your names. They will tell you, just ask them. I was calling y'all name by name. I was calling for y'all's households. I was calling for the manifestation of God upon y'all's lives. I was calling that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I was calling out things. I was calling for your businesses to prosper. I was calling for your families to be reconciled. I was calling out for marriages. I was calling out for all of you. I also started for all of the original News in Motion viewers. I asked God to send y'all a double portion of anointing. I did. I asked God to visit you every day. I asked God to walk with you, to speak with you, to give you clarity of mind. I was asking for everything from God this morning. Everything from God this morning for all of you. I said, I'm not going to keep this to myself. No way. So I was in my office. We normally are here at 7:15 in the green room. We did not even get started. That's why we were late this morning, because I could not calm down. I had to go get tissues. I was crying to go fix my makeup. I was like, forget it. I don't care, because I kept crying. But I see God's glory on all of us. On all of us. All we got to do is receive it. All we have to do is receive it. All we have to do is receive it. And here's a place where we can start, y'all. We can start shouting. We can start shouting now, but we also have to send a message to people that their negativity is not accepted here. Anywhere in your space, it's not accepted. You just have to call that thing out. You know what? Your negativity is not accepted here. No, it's not accepted here. So to all the haters that send me emails when we put our email up there, you know what? I'm praying for you. I delete them. I just delete. I don't even know you anyway. I just hit delete, whatever. But this morning when I wanted to answer that one, like there's no way you could have 10 pieces of content. If you would just go and do your research on me, you could see how there is a way. But guess what? I don't even have time for that anymore. We got to shut that stuff down, because those things are a distraction. They're distracting us from getting to our end goal and to getting us to where we need to be. Y'all, seriously, it's time for the war cry. It's time for the war cry. But here's the last thing, and I'm signing off for the weekend. When you give your war cry, you gotta let go of all the other stuff. Gotta let it go. You can't go back there to pick it up, because you've given the war cry and that wall came tumbling down. There's no sense of building back the wall that you brought down, that God allowed to come down. Yeah, we got to get beyond all that. Thank y'all for staying on. For those of you who did, so I can give you this. Let me share this with you now. I'm going to get George Saunders on here. This is his book. I'm not finished with it, but I was reading through it, and I will have him on the podcast and on News in Motion. Y'all know once we get past the election, our shows are going to just be just a little different through the holidays. We're still going to bring news, but it's going to be somewhat relaxed. Deborah Johnson's going to be coming in with me during during that time, Isaiah and Lexi and Kenny, we're going to have some fun. Some of you have been asking for the countdowns again. We will do some of the countdowns. If you have any recipes or anything you want to send in to us, please do that now so we prepare. We write the run a show, although breaking news comes through, but we write these ahead of time and then we fill in with the news all around them. So if you have any recipes or any lists or anything like that, please let us know. Mike Nicholson, if you have any lists, because Mike Nicholson rides me with the soul food, lack of soul food, shall I say. Kim Edmondson, Lori Wallace, any of you, anybody who's listening by audio, if you have any list you want us to share, maybe there's some Christmas gifts or specials or Hanukkah or whatever that you want to put out there that you want us to share, we want to do that. We want to give you that platform to do that. News in Motion, we do not have corporate sponsors. Some of that is on purpose. It's intentional because sometimes they want us to lean a certain way and we refuse to do that. We are a grassroots aggregated media outlet source. We bring you relevant commentary mixed with the call to action, and we give you an inspirational message. But if you have a product that you want to share on News in Motion, whether you have a 30-second or 45-second commercial, or if you want to come on live to give us a 2-minute commercial live of your product, there is a fee for that service, but this is a time to do that as we're going into the holidays. So just email us. That's newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. All right, y'all, that's all I have. I'll be back on Monday, hopefully, if God allows me to wake up and tune in, bring this news to you on Monday. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.
No.